Hi, how y'all doing? It's December. What's the date today? The 15th? I don't know. I took yesterday off. I just didn't feel like doing nothing, right? It's 16th today. It's the 16th of December. 3 more days till the 19th. Here in Ontario, Canada, it's misty out. Foggy, kind of, sort of, right? It's cloud covered. Temperature came down a bit. Not enough to make it misty, though, right? So, interesting. The Schuman was 51 yesterday. A lot higher than the 9 it was before, right, folks? For sure. Um, I didn't. How did I sleep? That's about the same, right? The last couple nights, I just dream, wake up a couple of times. Last night, I woke up at 4 o'clock, and the first thing that came to my mind was my mother. All right. Then I thought, oh, she came to visit me, right? So that's why I woke. I asked her what my real name was, and she told me, and I can't remember. It wasn't Aphrodite, it was something along that line. I just, yeah, it's gone. Yeah, I kept on repeating it to myself as I was going back to sleep, but it's gone. Strange. Because that's what the questions I ask myself every night before I go to sleep. Who am I? Where did I come from? And how long have I been here? Right? So, and I've got a lot of different answers. So I'm just trying to peg one down, you know what I mean? That repeats. But I suppose that's because we've been reincarnated I've been reincarnated so many times because I'm an old soul, right? Because I have a lot of different skills. I've done a lot of different things in my life. And there's not just one thing that interests me, right? It's a whole bunch of stuff. So, yeah, that means you're an old soul. I wrote a couple of things down that got my interest. What was it? Oh, that Bondi Beach false flag thing, right? Did you notice on the video, if you've watched it, that it's being filmed by a drone? Who does that? How does that happen? It just happens to be there at the perfect moment, right? You know what I mean? And then I was watching Autodidactic and he broke it down. And Buddy that was shooting blanks, right? Because there's two men and he shoots at them, like straight at them, and they just look at him, right? And they walk away. He shoots at them again. They just walk away, right? And it's like, yeah, they're not playing their game. They're not part of the movie, right? So, yeah. And then he shows one guy at a table on the beach, right? And there's all these tubes, like those little ketchup tubes, right? That you squeeze, and they got stuff in them that looks like fake blood. And Buddy's sitting there getting his face painted with it. And just happens that later on in the video, he's one of the victims. He's got his head all in a bandage and stuff, right? Why do you think they're doing it? Why would they pull that, right? Well, I think it was for the Jews to get sympathy, right? Until this the part of the story, the plot twist was it was a couple of Muslim guys that did it, right? It's just I think it's the white hats trying to show everybody how they do this shit. You know what I mean? It's funny. It really is because a lot of the bleeding hearts out there will be going, "Oh no, those poor people." Right? Don't you mean crisis actors? Anything that happens like this, the protests with the people wear masks and stuff, right? Around the realm, the wars, everything. It's all crisis actors. They've hired thousands upon thousands of them, right? So you can't believe any of this crap. None of it. And what else? We're in the waning crescent, right? Reflect, prepare to action. Oh, that was another thing that I seen a video on Facebook, that there's a replica statue of the Liberty statue, right? The guy in drag, pretending he's a woman, holding a flame, right? And it fell down. It crashed in Brazil. What do you think that's about? Right? Had to be a demolition of some sort, you know? I wonder if they got the one out of the United States yet. Has anybody noticed? Because they were talking, France was saying it, we're going to take it back. I'd like to see if the fag's gone. Right? Fag's a cigarette. So yeah. Um, I went out yesterday. I was sitting here early in the rise and I was like, I'm just going to take it easy today. It's going to be an off day. It's snowing off and on, right? No sense. The roads weren't plowed very good. I was like, yeah, nah, I'm just going to sit here. And then I was like, oh, dang, I'm out of my marijuana that I smoked during the day, sativa, right? So I was like, oh, crap, I gotta go out. Donnie looked at me, he said, yeah. I said, yeah. And he goes, well, I need a couple of things before we go into the store. I said, I don't plan to go into the grocery store. I'm just going to go get my stuff. So maybe I will. We'll see how bad the roads are. I can get a couple of things, right? So I got dressed and started my truck, let it warm up. It was like minus 17. I started up, no problem. The day before, I had a hard time. He had a hard time starting up, right? So that's different. So I got dressed and went to the pot shop, talked to the lady there because none of the people that worked there got the job, right? I see their light as soon as I see them, bing, you know what I mean? And I got to doing my order and looked at a few things in the store because she got some new products, right? And our merch. And I started talking to the lady. She rang up my bill and it was $44. And I was like, oh, wow. She goes, what? And I said, that number follows me around. She said, what? I said, 44 follows me around. I said, I added up my telephone number, came to 44. I added up my birth certificate number, comes out to 44. I said, all my numbers, right? My driver's license, everything, they all come out to 44. I said, it follows me around. I said, and when I came into the store and I met the boss, Danielle, I was telling her this about numerology, right? We were talking about, and I said, 44 follows me around. And she goes, wow, I'm 44. I was like, what? You know what I mean? Like, again? You know? And she was like, really? I was like, yeah. She was, I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm going to do my numbers. I said, I did all my 6 of my children, and none of them had repeating numbers like that. Right? She goes, I'm going to check my numbers. I'm going to do it, right? I said, right on, you know? And then, yeah, I decided to go to the grocery store. So I drove back and went to the grocery store, picked up more things. Once I got there, I realized, oh, dang, I need this too, and that, and this, right? So, yeah, never really talked to anybody. Just kind of one man. He was standing there, some older melanated man, looking at the meat. And I picked up a tray of meat and I dropped it in my cart and it made a big noise. And he looked and I said, noisy, eh? And he just nodded his head, right? And I walked away. So, yeah, came home, just chilled all day. My son was home, or came home. He went out, but he didn't pan out, so he was back, right? So we just sat, did our own thing, right? Watched the YouTube. I didn't have anything to talk about. It was kind of a blank yesterday. I laid down around noon because I got really tired for some reason. And I just was dozing off. I think I was dozing, right? And all of a sudden I got that sharp pain right there again, right above my ear, right? Right there. There's a little indent in there I could feel. Not so much on this side. right? I was like, oh no, what's going on, right? But it's only as big as my fingertip too, and it just feels like a little, somebody drilled for a minute, and I gotta I push on it when it happens. It's the only way to stop it from being so intense. But it only lasts for like a minute, on and off. It's not constant, and then it goes away. Right? That's kind of freaking me out. Not sure what that is. It's new, right? This is the second time it's happened. But yeah, I'm not going to run to the doctor or anything to find out, right? That's just stupid. So, yeah. Shoulders are tense still. Not so much pressure in the head though today, right? Last night too, just as I was dozing off around 11, my feet decided they were going to try cramp up a little bit. So I sat up and rubbed them and stuff, sprayed them for about 15 minutes, and then I laid back down and went to sleep. So I'm glad that wasn't an all night thing. But it was snowing off and on here. It could have been something from the weather too, the pressure. I don't know, right? I don't know. I just don't know. So yeah, I figured I'd get on here today. Make videos for you. Make a video for yous. Got that kind of backwards. I seen a raven too yesterday when I was out. When I was going to the marijuana shop. It was on the side of the road hopping around. Pretty big one. But that's the only bird I've seen. Right? For, a week or so. But if I was a bird, I wouldn't want to be out in this either. I wouldn't. So yeah. Did you know if you look up the etymology online website, it breaks down your words to their first beginning, their basic, root word. And or comet means dragon. Great whale means dragon, right? I watched a video, 432. He did a short, or not a short, but a shorter video, and because it usually goes for 4 hours, right? And he showed that, I can't remember when it was, in early 1900s, late 1800s, there was a newspaper article about a fire down in the States somewhere. A building had caught on fire and boiled 2 dragons alive. It was a museum of Barnum's, freaks, right? No, they said it was whales in the newspaper article, great whales, right? 2 boiled alive. And it wasn't an aquarium, it was a building, like your buildings we have all over the place on main streets. They wouldn't have been able to have an aquarium big enough to have 2 great whales in that building, right? So when you do the etymology of the word great whale, it comes out to dragons. But later on, he read another article, and it had said that there was 4 baby dragons, right? 2 of them died in the fire, right? What happened to the other 2? I wonder what they've trained them to do, right? Interesting. And a dragon comes in a couple of forms. It can be bolts of light, or globes of light, Sometimes you see videos of light moving across the ground and through the sky, right? They can come as a fiery light, like a comet, right? There's some have wings, some don't, right? I find it very interesting. I know they're real. I do. My soul knows they're real, and they're still here, right? So interesting. Very interesting. They even had a manual on how to study dragonology, right? They had specific or what would you call them? Biologists, right? That told you how to observe them and that how dangerous they were and where you could find them, stuff like that. Very interesting. Just more receipts upon receipts, right? Yeah. Hmm. Different. I love it though. I do. The more I learn, the more I realize everything we've been taught about history, about everything, the medical system, religion, schooling, wars, the Great Flood, the Ice Age, everything, it's all been staged. It has all been staged. There's always been crisis actors, right? When you see old buildings and there's a couple of people and they're dressed up to look like they're indigenous sitting in front of it or standing in front of it, it's a stage, right? Those are the actors. They're not the real inhabitants. So just pay attention when you're watching history, right? Or when you're looking at landscapes in other countries. There's so many deceptions, and a lot of them aren't even good. So many stages set, right? And a lot of them aren't even good. Like they have these Romanesque kind of ruins that people go to visit as tourists, right? With the pillars standing up, right? Columns, whatever, right? And it was supposed to be like a city or whatever. But you'll notice that they're not the same size, right? Some are short, some are longer, some are long. There's no way there could be a roof on that, right? And then, they got broke off in the flood. Well, where's the remnants of them, right? They've all been put there as a stage, right? So many things are like that. Nothing's true. Nothing. Even the fact that people in your family, you think that they're your family, but they're not your family, right? They're just a consciousness that came in there to mess with you because maybe you're the chosen one, right? Try to keep you down. Gatekeepers. Can't let you rise. Can't let you shine, right? Can't let you be better than them because they don't have it in them. So they have to tear you down. That's their job, right? That's why they came. It's so messed, isn't it? But yeah. All right. That's enough for today. I wonder what the Schumann's at today. My ears are not ringing. Or maybe just a tiny, tiny little bit. Right? And like I said, the only thing that's bugging me today is my shoulders and my neck. Ow. Right? That's about it. I woke up with congestion, coughing too. My son as well. Right? It's like, what is this? What, I'm so congested, I can hardly breathe, kind of thing. I said, yeah, it's whatever they're doing. It's like me too. Right? My friend Tass was complaining about it. She stopped over last night to smoke a joint with me. She wanted to know how to clean up dog diarrhea. Her Great Dane Cane Corso mix had diarrhea in her car, and she only has a little car, right? I said, clean it the same way you would if it was your son, you know? Get some soap and water, paper towels, clean it up first, and then scrub her out, you know? I told her how to make a natural deodorant with baking soda and a couple drops of essential oil, you know? It's how big hotels and motels clean the mattresses and their carpet. Mix it up, sprinkle it around, right? Rub it in, vacuum it off, right? Deodorizes and, what's the other word? Takes away the bacteria, right? There's a word for it that's just not coming to my mind. So yeah, I'm not doing anything today. Staying home. Looks like it's getting a bit slushy out there. They used a lot of salt on the road. But yeah, I have no plans. I'm just chilling. Every day, we get enlightened. Every day, I listen to my intuition. Every day, I have more gratitude. Love y'all's consciousness. Enjoy this night or day. Okay? Okay. Bye.